Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the Real Secrets of Money with your host, myself, Damon J. Brockenberry, the Extraordinary. Today is Friday, October the 17th, 2025. And as we begin the show, please follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Hey TikTok, how you doing? So as always, I like to jump into the wonderful world of real estate. So today I want to dive right into it. I want to talk about the myths that can cost both buyers and sellers thousands of dollars. Okay, I'm gonna begin with sellers. First of all, a lot of sellers like to believe that pricing their home high leaves them room to negotiate. When this sounds logical, but it really backfires. Because a lot of times, even when I deal with sellers, they always say, oh, let's start high and let them negotiate us down. But what they fail to realize is a lot of times when their house is overpriced, most buyers look at it as a red flag. And they'll say, what's so special about this house? So an overpriced house normally sits longer on the market, gets fewer showings, and can eventually sell for less than it's worth after price reductions. Pricing correctly from day one attracts serious buyers and can even spark bidding wars depending on locations. Number two, as a seller, you don't need to make any repairs. Buyers can handle it themselves. Buyers today are looking for move-in ready properties. Minor issues like chip paint, old carpet, or dripping faucets or loose railing can make them assume a bigger hidden problem is there. A little pre-listing maintenance can go a long way toward higher offers and smoother inspection. Number three, that staging doesn't matter. Buyers can use their imagination. In some cases, that's true, but sometimes you have to help buyers to see what actually can go there. Sometimes buyers will go into a vacant home and they'll say, oh, can I fit my bed here? Can I fit this? A lot of times when they see houses that are staged, it gives them ideas. And sometimes the way that it's staged will make them want to buy the house, believe it or not. Most buyers can't visualize empty or cluttered space. Professionally staged homes typically sell faster and for more money because they help buyers emotionally connect with the property. You're not selling square footage, you're selling a lifestyle. Number four, the first offer is never the best offer. That's what a lot of sellers tend to believe. Many sellers make the mistake of assuming better offers will come later. In reality, your best and most motivated buyers often appear early. When your listing is fresh and exciting, don't dismiss that first offer without carefully evaluating it with your agent. And this is very true. And then when they want to circle back, a lot of times the buyers want to offer less. And number five, you don't need an agent to save on commission. A lot of people tend to go with this, oh, especially for sale by owners. You don't need an agent. But what they fail to realize is it's going to cost you more than you will be paying a commission to be without an agent. Think I'm lying? A lot of times houses tend to sell for 20% or more less than what they would sell for if they had an actual agent. So while you all are contemplating that, oh, I don't want to pay a commission 5-6%, oh, I'm saving money. No, you're really losing money because the bottom line is not what you're paying, it's actually what you're netting. It sounds tempting, but data shows for sale by owners often sell for less than the agent representing homes, even after paying commission. A skilled agent, such as myself, brings marketing power, pricing strategy, negotiating experience, and buyer access that can't be duplicated. Listen, I've been doing this for years, okay? And I always like to say that because a lot of times when it pertains to people who want to save on commission, um, a lot of times people end up spending more money than they just would have paid the commission. Commission, like I said, is roughly 5 to 6% of the sales price. Okay, let's say hypothetically, if it's a $600,000 home, and 6% would be $36,000. A lot of times when you have an unskilled agent or you don't want to pay commission or you think that, oh, I'm going to save this money, you'll end up spending more than $36,000 selling that home. So a lot of times you really shouldn't focus on what you're paying. You should be focused on what you're netting and what you're earning. That is the true indication of a skilled agent and if it's worth paying them a commission. People think they're saving, but a lot of times I found that they're actually losing. Okay, I'm getting to the buyers. All right, hold on. Getting my information right here. All right. Where's my sellers at? My buyers. My buyers. Right here. Is this it? Okay, yes. Right here. Now, for buyers, a lot of times buyers think that skipping the home inspection actually saved them money. Truth be told, no, it's going to cost you more money because here's the thing. When you skip a home inspection, you don't know what you are inheriting with that particular property. A lot of times people think, oh, I really want the house. I really want the house. But how badly do you want the house? Because here's the thing. I know someone who skipped the home inspection, wasn't my client. And when they skipped the home inspection, they found out after they moved in that all the electrical wiring in the home were faulty. So everything they plugged in blew. Their TV blew. Their microwave blew. Their toaster blew. Everything blew because they did not get a home inspection. See, you need to make sure that you understand what you are inheriting when you're purchasing a home. Sure, skipping a home inspection might make your offer more attractive, but it could also hide hidden repairs and cost you thousands of dollars. Even if you agree not to request repairs, having that inspection can save you from buying a money pitfall. Number two, all lenders offer the same rates. No, they don't. When I deal with clients, I normally have them speak to several lenders. The reason why I do this is because depending on your personal situation, your credit, and your credit score and your financial situation, is actually your financial DNA. Depending on your financial DNA is going to determine what can be offered to you. Everyone doesn't offer the same. Lenders are like gas stations, same product, different prices. Shopping around for even a slightly better rate can save you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Number three, you can't buy in today's market unless you're wealthy. Yes, home prices have risen, but there are creative ways to make it work. First-time home buyers, grants, rate buy downs, and home hacking. Wealth isn't always about how much you make. It's about how you structure your purchase. And when you're working with a professional such as myself, I talk about these strategies with my clients, how to make the offer. Again, there are many things that you have to focus on throughout the whole transaction: the purchase price, your interest rate, how much money you're putting down, how much the sellers are going to contribute. There's a lot of other things too. And number five, closing. So there you have it. It's 5 myths that could cost you thousands. Busted. If you learned something new today, share with your friends and everyone else. So right now, I'm going to be back with the house of the week and my Q&A, my questions and answers. Right. All right. Again, if you're not following me on all social media platforms, please make sure that you do. And we're going to hop into this house of the week. This house that I'm about to show you right now, there is an open house going on tomorrow between 12 and 3 p.m. and also on Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. Please stop by if you can. This property is in DC. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is 2814 Rhode Island Avenue. Again, this property is in DC. It is 4 bedrooms, 4 levels, 4.5 baths. Has 2-car garage, not garage, I'm sorry, 2-car driveway parking, one in the front and one in the rear. Has a gourmet kitchen. I want you to check out the details of this home. Immaculate. Again, there's an open house being done tomorrow from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. 2814 Rhode Island Avenue. It is right off Eastern Avenue, coming from Maryland, off of Eastern Avenue and Rhode Island Avenue. If you're coming from DC, you can get it off of South Dakota Avenue, Rhode Island Avenue, or if you're coming off the highway, you can take 50 or BW Parkway coming into Washington, D.C., bear to your right on South Dakota Avenue, make a right on Rhode Island Avenue. The property sits on the left. Look for the signs. If you're already in D.C., you can come from Riggs Military Road, Riggs Road, come across South Dakota, make a right on 18th Street, then make a left on Rhode Island Avenue. Please stop through if you are in the neighborhood. Again, this is 2814 Rhode Island Avenue Northeast. You won't be disappointed. If you have any questions, please inquire within. That is a great home. The details are very good on that. So right now, I want to go into my Q&A, which is my questions and answers. I have quite a few questions today. So the first question is, if I overprice my home for sale, hold on for 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry I didn't stop it. All right. The first question is, if I overprice my home for sale and it's not selling, at what price point do I cut my losses or try to get some money rather than no money from the sale? Again, if I overprice my home for sale and it's not selling, at what point do I cut my losses or try to get some money rather than no money from the sale? This is a great question. I briefly talked about it when I talked about overpricing home and people thinking they can come negotiate. Now, if you overprice your home and it's not selling, when do you cut your losses? I would say immediately, unless you, because here's the thing, the longer you allow your home to sit on the market, the more it becomes a stale, S-T-A-L-E, a stale listing, where after a while, it's not even going to show up in the searches because of the fact that so many houses come on the market daily that it pushes your house down. So after a while, it's not even getting that many viewings and showings because other houses are on the market. Second of all, how long do you want to wait? If your house hasn't moved, most likely it is overpriced. And because it's overpriced and everything, most buyers are not going to buy it. There are people out here who are still buying houses. There are settlements that occur every day. Here's the thing. There are not as many buyers as they were before because, of course, people are scared of the job market and furlough and things of that nature. But there's still buyers out here who it doesn't affect. And here's the thing. What makes your home stick out more than anything? One of the things that makes your home stick out is it being overpriced. That's a red flag to most buyers. You got to be realistic on your price, okay? And you have to pack your patience. Now, I would say cut your losses immediately unless you have a lot of patience and you just feel somewhere deep in your spirit that your house is going to sell for whatever it's listed for. If you have equity in your home and you want to get that money, reduce the price, sell it. But if you feel like you're kind of close and everything, you might want to reconsider re-listing it at another time if you feel like, oh, I don't have money to really spend like that. Because if your house is not priced right and it doesn't show well, it's going to continue to sit. The next question, if you're getting closing assistance from a program and it doesn't cover all your closing costs, can I ask the seller to cover the remaining cost of the closing? Again, if you're getting closing assistance from a program and it doesn't cover all closing costs, can I ask the seller to cover the remainder of the closing? The answer to that is yes. Of course, when you speak to a reputable real estate professional like myself, we discuss all this because we also are in contact with your lender to find out the exact amount that you actually need. Now, keep this in mind. When you're making offers on property, you do need to put some skin in the game, meaning you do need to put some money for your down payment, your earnest money deposit. More so, your earnest money deposit will be credited towards your down payment. So you may have a program that may pay all of your down payment. Okay, so your earnest money deposit will then go to give you credit towards your closing costs, because you as a buyer still have to put some skin in the game, meaning you have to put some money into the equation, because it shows you as a buyer that you are a serious, ready, willing, and able buyer to the seller. Now, yes, you can ask the seller to contribute for the difference, cover all your closing costs or whatever it is. Yes, you can always ask the seller. Now, it's always up to the seller to accept, counter, or reject what you offer. This is why it's called negotiation, and this is why you have a real estate professional such as myself, because we go through the negotiation phase, trying to get the buyer the best deal as possible, just like the listing agent tries to represent their seller in best way as possible. So yes, you can ask the seller for whatever you want. I have a client right now that wants to ask the seller to leave the bar stools, the kitchen table, and some more. And again, me as the negotiating person that I am, we put in the contract. Okay. The next question, what cost should the seller expect when selling their home? What cost should the seller expect when selling their home? That's a great question. Here's the thing, because sometimes people think sellers don't have a cost. All sellers have a cost. First of all, sellers still have to pay property taxes when they're selling their home. They have to pay commission in most cases, unless they're going to do it for sale by owner. And depending on that, and if they have any liens against their property, meaning, for example, they can owe taxes, they can have a judgment against their home. So these costs are going to be what the seller have when they're selling their home. Number one, taxes. Number two, commission. Number three, if they have any judgment against their home. In many cases, they have a lien, which they have a mortgage. So the mortgage is a cost. So for example, if they're selling their home for, let's say, $700,000, they have a mortgage of $400,000. That $400,000 is a cost. So when they sell it for $700,000, they're not getting a total of $700,000. They're getting the difference. So the mortgage has to be paid off, the taxes have to be paid off, and the commission has to be paid off. So these are the costs that are for the seller when they are selling their home. The next question: should I accept a cash offer that's lower than a finance offer? Again, should I accept a cash offer that's lower than a finance offer? That's a great question. Here's the thing: most cash offers are going to be lower than a finance offer. The reason being is finance offers have contingency. You have an appraisal contingency and you have a home inspection contingency. Cash offers are being accepted as is. So most people who have cash are going to offer you an offer that is less than the list price. So a lot of times, depending on you, the seller, what are you looking for? How badly do you want to sell it? If you feel like your house is in immaculate condition, like if it's a renovated home or brand new, of course you want to probably get a finance offer because you'll get more money in most cases, because there's nothing wrong with your home and you feel like your home will appraise at the value that it is. But if you have a home that's not in tip-top shape and you know that there's some issues with it, you best to take the cash offer, because again, cash offers are most of the time, majority of the time, are less than list price because they are accepting that house as is for a lower price. Finance homes a lot of times are higher than cash offers, but finance homes also have contingencies. They have the financial contingency. I'm sorry. They have the appraisal contingency, in which they want to make sure that the home is worth whatever you have it listed at or whatever they offer. And then they also have the home inspection contingency, like I mentioned earlier in this show, to make sure that whatever they're inheriting, that it's not going to cost them and be like a money pit. So yes, should you accept the cash offer if you know you got issues going on with your home, and if you feel like, okay, you can't get a finance offer? But it depends on the difference. Depends on what your home is selling for. What's the cash offer? Those things play a factor too. So you always need to talk to your real estate professional to advise you on that. Now, some people, they work with investors, so they'll come to you and say, yeah, the investor's willing to offer this. But are they really speaking on the best interest of you? You have to make sure you have a reputable real estate professional as well too, because some real estate professionals work with investors, so they're going to tell you to take anything. Me, I'm not going to tell you to take anything. I'm going to hold a conversation with you, ask you questions, and then we're going to come to a conclusion. And then from there, I can advise you better, because it's not always this black and white. Some things are great, okay? And this is one of those things that is great. Like I said, it really depends. And the last question is, can I make an offer on more than one house at a time? Can I make an offer on more than one home at a time? That's a great, great question. I'm glad it was asked. The answer is no. You're not supposed to make an offer at more than one time, because here's the thing that people don't think about. Let's say you go out this weekend, today's Friday, and you make an offer on Saturday, and you make an offer on Sunday. And then the next thing you know, after you made your offer on Saturday and Sunday, both of your offers get accepted. And you're trying to debate which one you want to take, right? So here's the thing. Let's say there's no initials need to be signed off, and the seller accepted your offer and they put it on there and stuff. Now you have an issue with your earnest money deposit could possibly being taken, because let's say you accept one and don't accept the other one. They're like, hold up, we had two other offers at the time and we went with theirs. And you know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do it. Even though people have done it and they've gotten away, there's also been people who've done it and they've gotten caught in illegal ramifications, because the seller decided to sue for the earnest money deposit because they took their house off the market, even if it was for a day, because they felt like they potentially lost another person who could have bought their home, and they felt like it cost them money. Do not play those games. That's just like some people will try to work with more than one real estate professional at a time. Do not play those games, people. You understand? Be honest. Do what's right. Okay, if you really want a house, make an offer on that particular house. And then when you make an offer, you can give a timeline as far as, okay, this offer is good for 48 hours. This offer is good for 72 hours. This offer is good for 24 hours. That way, you're not waiting for a long time. And if they don't respond within a certain time period and you make it known up front when you submit the offer, okay, today is Friday, October 17th. This offer is good until Sunday, 6 p.m. If they don't respond by then, guess what? Make the next offer. That way, if they do come back and respond and say, okay, we decided to go with your offer, and it's on Monday, and now you've already made another offer, now you yourself can get basically decide which one you want to go with. But if you make them at the same time and stuff, again, you can get caught up in legal ramification, making multiple offers at the same time on different houses. It's not advised. I'm not saying people haven't done it and everything, but again, you're not supposed to. So can you make the offer on more than one house at a time? No, you're not supposed to. Those are great questions. I thank you for all those questions. I will be right back with my topic of the day. All right, again, if you're not following me on all social media platforms, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, YouTube, and Pinterest. Today I want to talk about supposed to be will, not wills. Will versus skill. Okay. The reason why I say this is, a lot of times throughout life, we all tend to go through so much, but so much that we go through, it can be overwhelming. It can be tiresome. It can seem like no matter what angle, what we're doing, we can always be trying to do right, and everything is attacking us at the same time. It can seem like, dag, I'm just at my wit's end. But sometimes in this thing called life, your will outweigh your skills in so many things. And what do I mean by that? Meaning, for example, even when it pertains to jobs, when it pertains to getting up and doing certain tasks, when it pertains to the way that you treat people, your will sometimes outweigh your skills. See, it's part of the thing that keeps us going. It's like when some people have accidents and some people, they recover from the accident and they were told by the doctor that they weren't going to recover. It's because of their will. A lot of times, when you're doing things and it seems like you have all these opposition coming towards you and then you persevere, sometimes it's not based off your skills, it's based off your will. And what I'm saying to you is your mindset has to become strong enough to outlast and outdo everything around you, because there are oppositions at everyone, folks, at you, at me, daily. You have to figure out a way. See, that's your will, figuring out a way where there is no way. When Michael Jordan used to play basketball, they used to say he willed his team to victory. And what people didn't see was, yes, he would be sometimes, of course, we know about the dunks, the scoring, but there were times he was missing a lot. But it wasn't just that made them win. It was his determination, his hunger, his drive to play defense, to grab rebounds, to contest things, and to get to the free throw line, even though he was missing his jump shots and layup. And what I'm saying to you is he was still finding a way to score. He was still finding a way to do certain things. And this goes the same in life. A lot of times when it pertains to, let's say, hypothetically, money, we don't have enough money to pay the bills. And you're trying to figure out, oh, well, I work this job and this job is not paying me enough. You have to figure out a way. You have to figure out, because sometimes you don't have the skills. So that's why when they created Uber and let people drive that, you're supposed to have driving skills, but many people out there don't. That's a whole nother topic. But you found the will to go make money. And what I'm saying also is you have to find the will to persevere and to keep going, even when you don't have the skills. When you don't have the skills to cook, you got to find the will to find something to eat. When you don't have the skills to get that high paying job, you got to find the will to find another means of income. when you don't have the skills to do the things that you need to do to be the person that you ought to be, you have to find the will to be the best person that you can be. Will sometimes overcomes skill. See, will overcomes where you lack. And like I said, we are all being tested on a daily basis. Life is life and for everyone. For everyone, not just you. I know some people out there faking the fun. You know, they doing this, they doing that. And don't get me wrong, life is good and great for a lot of people. Don't Yes, for some people, they ain't got no issues going on. But for a lot of other people, something is going on. Something is going on. So what I'm saying to you is when you don't have the skill, you have to find the will. You have to find the will to move on, the will to figure it out. You got to figure it out. We all have to figure it out. Because here's the thing, nothing is guaranteed. The support you get, not guaranteed. Life is not guaranteed. Your job is not guaranteed. The relationship you're in, not guaranteed. Your family loving you, not guaranteed. Your health, not guaranteed. What I'm saying is, though, is nothing in this world is guaranteed. But your mind is something that's always working, always processing, always thinking. Even if you're looking at something, it's still thinking, it's processing, it's taking in whatever you're looking at. And here's what I'm also saying. When you don't have the skills to pay the bills, you got to find the will to pay the bills. When you don't have the skills to go and move on, you got to find the will to move on. When you don't have the skills to talk to the people you need to talk to, you got to find the will to talk to them. That's like, oh, I can't talk, so let me text. You're still communicating. You have to find the will, people. So what I'm saying to you is I want everybody to tap into their willpower. Tap into your willpower in everything that you do, because there's a way. There's a way to do everything. I know some people, it might be easy for them, but it might not be easy for you. So you got to find a way to figure it out. Because if you don't figure it out, guess what? It's going to figure it out for you. And you're not going to like the outcome when it figure it out for you. All because you lack the will. You lack the will. So willpower is what I'm trying to get us to focus on. So focus on the will, y'all, because sometimes you don't have the skill. You don't always have the skill. Some people think they do, but reality is you don't. All right, that's what I want to talk about. Let me come back with my recap. All right, my recap is I listed a few things that would cause both buyers and sellers thousands of dollars. And truth be told, you just need to get a real estate professional such as myself to go over those things with you. And that way you can save some money, get your house, or even sell your house. And then I also just talked about the willpower versus the skill power. Listen, y'all, in this thing called life, sometimes you're not going to have the skills to figure it out, but you definitely have the will to get out and to figure it out. Make sure you tap into your willpower, because your willpower is really your skill power. All right. So again, please follow me on all social media platforms. I thank you all. Today is Friday, October 17th, 2025. You all have a great weekend, y'all. I shall talk to you soon.